All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this webinar for cloud security monitoring and analytics. My name is Ashutosh Gupt, and I am a pre-sales solution architect with Sumo Logic and based out of India. Of course, as the name says, we are talking about a couple of solutions with Sumo Logic, especially around cloud security monitoring and analytics. Don't forget to put your questions, comments, or anything which you want to ask in Q&A box. We will take it as we go, or we can take it at the end of the session. So with that, let me start this. Many of you might be knowing Sumo, or maybe already are a customer or using Sumo in your environment. So what the continuous intelligence platform or our core platform is primarily the one which is where the data goes in. So if you see this particular slide and you see this in the bottom of the slide, we have multiple use cases. So it can be either right now we are talking about security intelligence, which is the second one, but it can be used for multiple use cases. It can be used for troubleshooting, monitoring, and other purposes as well. And in some of the use cases where we have seen people are using it for business intelligence or a global intelligence as well. And the global intelligence specifically, we have a couple of out of the box app and dashboard, which will give you comparison between what you are doing and what others are doing, whether it's on a security side or on the observability side. So now if you talk about how Sumo Logic is, what kind of data it takes, if you can see that it can take data, whether it's a structured, unstructured, semi-structured, or any kind of data in the format of logs, metrics, events, and traces from many of the sources, whether it's you are on a legacy environment, you are on a very data center kind of environment, or as new as modern as the Kubernetes or microservices based architecture. The data can be pulled in various well-documented method, well-tested method into Sumo Logic in all formats into Sumo. And then once it reaches into Sumo Logic in a secure manner, it can do multiple things on that. We monitor and visualize, we put an alert, and we put a lot of intelligence and adding some metadata to it to make it more meaningful, make it more useful. Of course, there is a machine learning and AI, which is also working, which will give you a lot of flexibility, but a lot of insight out of the box to how to make use of this platform very well. I'll also show you in the live demo how it really actually work on the platform itself, rather than talking on the slide. On the right, if you see, there are a couple of personas which are very important. Right now we are also only talking about security side of it, but as I said, this can be used by multiple line of business. It can be other IT operations, it can be security, it can be your business folks as well as some of the developers. So we have a specific content, a specific out of the box solution for these personas itself, which can make use of Sumo as a platform. So it's not only a point solution in that terms. It can be used in multiple scenario, in multiple use cases for many of the folks. With that, if I'll go to the next slide, it's talking about what kind of data source. It can be SaaS IT. It can be purely on an API based driven data, which is your cloud SaaS provider data. It can be your app. You can be any data on your IaaS, PaaS, or on-premises system as well, for that matter, which when reach the Sumo, specifically for monitoring cloud security monitoring analytics, there are specific use cases. There are specific out-of-the-box dashboards and alerts which we can provide, which will give you a better security posture and give you a kind of a environment which will give you a quick turnout, a quick value to make your security compliance and analytics purpose much easier and better. When you see that, it will of course give you a lot of in terms of threat and kind of with a lot of integration which we provide, which also give you a lot of flexibility out of the box to get you on the security, I can say SOC or a SIM journey much faster. Again, if you see this slide, we are primarily talking about the first and second part, mainly on this middle part of the slide itself. We have multiple solution. We have audit and compliance solution, which comes out of the box from the core platform itself. We are security analytics and monitoring, which we are talking today. And we are having a cloud SIM as well. So cloud SIM will have a if some of you folks have already registered or maybe interested, you can go ahead and register it. The webinar is tomorrow. It's an advanced SIM solution which comes from Sumo Logic, and it can be have more insight, more better, automated, or I'll say more of a advanced SIM solution, which is from Sumo Logic. If now, all in all, if you talk about the one which we are talking today, is it's a foundational SIM or a security analytics solution, which will give you deep search in terms of correlating, alerting, and of course we do a lot of data enrichment and visualization out of the box. We also have a lot of integration with the a solution like threat intelligence, which is from CrowdStrike, and then which have a solution like Mapbox, which is a map-based integration where you can find out where the IP threats or any URL or IPs are landing from. So it can be pointing out to the street level kind of a view as well. Now, talking a little bit about the security challenges, like the SOC-based challenges. First of all, many of the vendors if you talk about, it's having either very traditional in nature, no cloud support, or if there are they're only talking about a kind of a PaaS based solution, or even if it is a SaaS based solution, it's not very much flexible or scalable, because it's not made on those kind of architecture. Sumo as a platform is made on microservices based architecture, so the scaling itself becomes very easy. So it's auto scale. We have customers which, if you some of you are already experiencing, or some of you are already seen couple of webinars earlier, you'll able to know that it scales as you go. So if we have people who are ingesting the terabytes of data, which can scale on a daily basis or a monthly basis itself. Then we are talking about the compliance ready solution. With Sumo, you get a lot of out of the box compliance. Sumo, its platform itself being a public company, it's already certified in many of the very well known certification. I have a slide for that. I will show you quickly. So in terms of privacy rules, and then compliance readiness, we are there. If you talk about the complex solution, how long it requires, many of the solutions which will take you a longer cycle to learn. We have an easy way to learn and get the things going. First of all, with the use of our app, things are very easy, because as soon as you integrate the data, as soon as you bring the data into Sumo, there are out of the box which will give you a lot of benefit in terms of preparing dashboards, alerts, queries immediately, and get ready to be used as well. Now, talking about the solution which have a different kind of licensing, right? So user-based licensing, or the licensing based on the number of applications or the features which you can use. Being at Sumo as a platform, you have a flexibility of using using the platform as you want. So whether it's observability solution, whether it's a operational analytics solution, business solution, you can use it as you go, as per your requirement. And we only go for the licensing model is only the data which you ingested. It's nothing like user restriction, number of features restriction, and so on and so forth. So in that way, it was also beneficial when you use this platform over a period of time. Now this is what we are talking today in this particular session. If you see, this is one of the dashboards which is there. I'll also show you from my platform itself, which will give you a lot of insight in terms of where your data is. I was talking about this map integration, which is from a which you see that there is a, you can see where people are logging. There are multiple use case of it, but in terms of security, if you talk about, the threat can be seen that from which location it is coming, and it can go deeper into your I'll say street level kind of environment, like you do in Google, and you can see that where the threats are coming. If you go to the right, you talk about the compliances. There are a lot of out-of-the-box dashboards and the queries which are written specifically for many of the use cases. Like, if you have any insight into PCI DSS, or if you have any kind of specific, security login from long distance login, those kind of scenarios. Or if you talk about the integration with many of the provider itself, we have around 200 plus 400 plus integration which is there, and out of the box apps and dashboards are available for around 300 application itself, which are well known, maybe a Silence or EKS or AWS environment, guard duty, VPC flow, whatever. So I have all this detail in my platform itself. I will show you up. If I talk about the machine learning, it works also that it, as I was talking about earlier, and that the platform works and the backend on the machine learning algorithm, which takes data into the platform, and there's an unsupervised machine learning which take the data, understand, and show the trend. So what the one which you're seeing in the bottom left, it's actually showing the outlier. The outlier is basically showing you where the spikes are, what is happening into your environment, why things are going wrong, right? Over a period of time. So it doesn't take a kind of a static threshold. If something is, based on your environment, based on the data which is flowing into Sumo from your environment, if it is goes beyond the normal range. So suppose I take example of a number of authentication attempts, or maybe login failures happening more towards the weekend on versus what you see in the weekdays, because your business is like that, it will suspect that and show you that trend, that it's normal to say five authentication attempts happening over the weekdays, and say it's not normal if it happens over the weekend. So that kind of, a machine learning happens and learns over a period of time, and show you that the pink triangle what you see in the bottom left panel itself, it shows that outlier, that this is something beyond normal activity, right? Now, talking about visibility, you have, as we say, it is not restricted to any AWS or any particular cloud provider. It can take data from many sources. It can be GCP, it can be, say, your uh, Azure, or it can be on-premises system itself. So that flexibility is always there. Yeah, so a couple of good features, as we talked about, so full cloud coverage. We already talked about it. Deeper insight in your security environment, how you can it can a machine can learn and give the insight, how it can integrate it with outside world, and show you that there is a threat actor or threat IP which is malicious, finding the anomalies. That is all coming out of the box. And compliance readiness, we as already talked about, we have this ready-made. Platform is extensible to many of the other uh, many of the other things which we do, whether it's going to a cloud advanced cloud sim, or going to a cloud SOAR kind of a solution, that same platform can be extended to that as well. And we have a ready-made ready to use those compliance stuff, as well as we are by the platform itself are compliant with these certifications and attestations. Yeah, don't forget to put your questions in the Q&A box, just to give you a reminder here. You talk about deep security insight, anomaly detection. We talk about how it can go and look into the outliers. Anything is not beyond normal activities, beyond normal range. It gives you that vision. deep search, right? You have a pre-built queries. We have a pre-built dashboard which will be easily configurable, and based on your need, you can tweak it and use it for your sim environment. Talking about the threat intelligence, we talk about, we have a CrowdStrike integration with the which is most updated, and we use the local copy, and your data is searched for IP. Compared for the IP-based threats or URL-based threats, domain-based threats, and so on and so forth. It will give you a lot of insight about what is going on into your environment. So I'll be quickly switching, just a few more slides before we go to the live demonstration and show you how it looks like. So I talked about this. Many of the known providers, known applications in the market are, we have ready-made apps for that. So the benefit is you as soon as you bring the data into Sumo Logic, these apps are ready to use. It's not like a longer integration, what to do, what kind of a solution, what kind of a dashboard I should make. Quick and easy adoption by this use of all the different related dashboards which you want to use it in your environment. Now, if you talk about compliance readiness, as we talked earlier also, we have some of the PCI based dashboards, PCI based apps, which for Linux, Azure, your AWS environment. CrowdStrike integration we already talked about. We also use processing rule to has those kind of any specific requirement where you don't want to mask or hash mask the data for your environment itself. Also, you can use it for many other use cases as you require. Now, this is what I was talking about. We have some of the certification and attestation from security standpoint, which is very I'll say not many vendors in the market have, like FedRAMP, if I talk about, which is very specific to US, but which is available with Sumo Logic, and we are compliant with it. We are very few vendors in the market which have a FedRAMP certified itself. So this is, as I said, it's very specific to a federal industry and in US, but this is what attestation we also have. One important point when you talk about the data, how it's flowing into Sumo Logic, whether at the time of ingestion and then at the time it keeps your data is there into Sumo Logic for whatever retention period, both the time it is very much secure, because we use HTTPS, SSL, and or TLS based encryption when the data is in transit, and when the data is at rest, that time also the keys are rolled over, and we used AES 256-bit encryption for any data. So it's your data, you are accessing this data, and nobody else is seeing the data itself. So we use very high level of high standards of encryption and usage based authentication for your data. In that way, your use of your SaaS platform is very much secure. We also have many regions in AWS we are present. Starting from, if you talk about India, or if you talk about EMEA, many of the region like Frankfurt, and if you talk about the US, many AWS region we are present. So from a data localization perspective also, you can use the platform as you want it and keep your data wherever the place which is most relevant to you. And then if you talk about so we are on the demo. I'll just see if they have any questions here before we jump on without Cloud SIEM. I can see there's a question regarding without Cloud SIEM, will Sumo Logic be good enough to perform a regular security event monitoring? Cloud SIEM is not a necessary requirement. This is like an extension of our core platform, which is CIP. And it can be used, or it's up to you. It's like, if you have really advanced specific use cases, your SOC is very mature and you want to go ahead into the more of an insight based requirement, where you want see from a signals to say a few handful of insight based on your MITRE attack framework. That is where the cloud sim or advanced cloud sim, I would say, is required. Otherwise, with CIP, continuous intelligence platform, you can use it and make use of it in much efficient way, and it's a very much a good point to start the sim journey itself with CIP platform itself. All right, so let me go to the next slide. And before I jump into the platform itself and show you how it looks like, this is very important slide. If you see that this is all in the what we were talking in the previous slides. Sumo is a purely SaaS solution, so there's nothing like, you know, you can use your platform, you can deploy it somewhere. It's a instance which is created once you register for it, whatever location you choose, and then it can be used totally. So you don't have to worry about how much VMs I should provision, how much instance I should take, what is my, you know, networking requirement, VPC, etc. So it's purely up to us. And then what you need to consider is the ingestion, from where the ingestion is coming from. So if you talk about there are basically two parts of it. One is your install collector, and other is the hosted collector. As the name says, install collector is basically the small collector or agent which is running on either multiple machines from where you want to take the data from. It can be any of your EC2 machines, VMs, traditional data centers, you know, or maybe any of the, you know, Linux, Windows, or other systems from where the data can be collected for any of the use cases. And or if you want to have a centralized, because of your infosec requirement, you want to have a centralized solution, one place you want to install a collector and get the data from your Windows and other environment. And probably you can take the data for your firewalls, you know, antiviruses and other you know, maybe MDRs or other devices, using the syslog. That is also the benefit with Sumo Logic, is our collector also act as a syslog receiver, so you don't have to invest in something, you know, a syslog server, or create a syslog server to get the data first locally, you know, stored and then send it to Sumo Logic. It can listen on based on your you know, port and UDP or TCP. It can listen the syslog data and send it to Sumo Logic as well. Now coming to the right side of it, it's a agentless solution. So many of the sources, specifically if you talk about the AWS, we have simplified a lot. Whether it's data is residing on a S3 bucket, or it's on a CloudWatch, a log groups or metrics, or even if it is streaming it to a Kinesis Firehose, we have a CloudFormation template which we provide according to your you know, your environment, and this can be deployed in minutes and get the data into Sumo Logic immediately. Here, as you said, there's no installation requirement. It's just a read access, which is you know, deployed into your environment and take the data into the read mode into Sumo Logic. You can also decide on the frequency of the you know, data flowing into Sumo as well. All this is very secure, as you all are seeing, is HTTPS based communication. Similar to AWS, we have data collection can be done with Azure using the functions, Microsoft function, PubSub method using in Google Cloud as well. We have many out of the box integration, around 50 plus integration with the SaaS providers, like, you know, Office 365 or G Suite or Google Workspaces, whatever you call it. Salesforce data, your data from your, say, Akamai or WAF, or any of the newest solutions, like, you know, Silence or Okta, One Login, Duo. All these integrations are ready-made and built-in, and where you don't really require any kind of, you know, hosted or installed collector. Just using the APIs, we collect the data from there. Of course, you need an admin access to get the data read. Once it is done, it is continuously sending the data into Sumo Logic, and we can then make use of it, and of course deploy the mini solution out of it. In the middle of the screen, you might not be very relevant to this particular session today, but if your data is in Kubernetes architecture, if your data is in containerized or anywhere looking into your application environment, that data also can be pulled into Sumo Logic using the hem and other method as well. We are also very much contributor of open telemetry, where you logs data, metrics, as well as traces data can be collected, which will be more useful for your DevOps and developer and development kind of environment to understand where the anomalies are. So that is all about the platform, because we take data from any sources. And the crux of this particular slide is to tell you that we can take data from any sources. We can take data, ingest the data from any sources into Sumo Logic, and we have a ready-made out of the box use cases for that and for the different personas. So suppose failed logging into your cloud environment, a cloud tray, or a VPC flow, you have how the traffic is going, what are the reject traffics, or the accepted traffic, those kind of environment. Also, you have a specific dashboards and the queries and alerts out of the box available into Sumo Logic itself. Perfect. So let me go back to my screen and show you where we can. Let me log in again, and I'll so if you can still see my screen, is see that this is where Sumo Logic investigation response and console ULM is, which is kind of a dashboard which will give you a quick insight about what is going on into your environment, what is wrong going on. I'll also bring one of the key features when you talk about this platform availability, which I talked in the initial presentation slides. These are all the out of the box app which is available. So it's keep on updating. If you are, some of you are already aware of using the platform from a while, you know that this is when you go to app catalog in the left, this shows you all the related, whether it's a compliance and security related apps, or whether it's specific to any environment like AWS, or specific to any say security itself, or say threat intelligence related app. So all these are, you can navigate here, and if I click again on the app all category, you can see a lot of applications which are available, which can be used as per your requirement. Again, using this has no restriction. It can be based on the data which you are pushing into Sumo Logic. Immediately you can go and install this particular app to make a use of it, and quickly see and visualize your data into meaningful format, right? So if you see what these apps are basically the collection of a lot of out of the box dashboards, alerts, and queries, which can be utilized based on your requirement, uh, like something like the PCI compliance for window, what kind of dashboards and panel it will give you something like this. This is one of the example, by the way. It can be many such use cases where you can utilize this account, user, and system monitoring, right? It's a something on a when any kind of accounts are created, deleted, right? Any user account enabled, installation and malicious software installation, whatever. I mean, there are a bunch of panels and dashboards which are ready to be used as soon as you bring the data into Sumo Logic itself. So once you also see this, these are the dashboards which are available. You can also perform a lot of your own configuration on this. So suppose one of the panel like this, which is password changes, and you want to select some of the specific domain, right? You can do that. You can do as per your requirement. These are highly configurable dashboards which are available to you, which you can make use of it and do the way you want it. make use of it as your environment requirement is, because it's your data. You can tweak it based on your requirement, and then make a probably a specific to your environment. You can say development environment, your staging, or you can create a centralized sim dashboard which will be available and useful to you based on your team's need. You can share this dashboard, you can share this app once you install it within your team, outside your team, as well as into a role-based access mode. So you want to share it only view access, you want to give it in the only say like this. If you go here and share it, you say that, oh, okay, I want to give this access to one of my team member, which may not be there using this particular app. In some of the scenario, you can give the view access, manage access, or any certain kind of access as well. You can notify them based on when they receive it. They see this data coming here into in this particular folder. Coming back, if I go to one of the dashboard, like security overview dashboard, this will be giving you a lot of insight, and this is an example of data coming from multiple sources, right? So if you, this can be one centralized sim dashboard which you can use it. Once is SSO and non-SSO login. This might be coming from a cloud trail data, right? So it says that, okay, if you have, and as I said, it can be expanded to a particular street view kind of a scenario, where you can go ahead and see if this logins and is coming from a particular location. This gives you two benefit. One is where the users are. From a business standpoint, it can show you that, okay, where the business should focus on. But in terms of security, if it can focus on why I'm getting a login from a particular region where my users are not there at all. So it can quickly give you a notify you that there's a problem. And then if you have seen this coming from you some of the other environment, quickly act upon it. So you can modify, as I said, you can go ahead and modify this query. But you can if you it's a simple query language like SQL, where you can say put some clauses, say where my country code is equal to something else like India, or any specific country code. Here you can see there's all country names are coming. You can put those clauses and make use of and update the dashboard as per your need. So all this is very much possible. These are highly configurable dashboard, and based on your requirement you can tweak it. But yeah, the one which are out of the box gives you also a lot of insight about what is going on. Similar to this, if you see, there is a one very important one, which is a kind of a rule which you see in day-to-day activity: suspicious logging, suspicious distance logging, right? So it's a very popular tactic or technique which is used by hackers. Are, if somebody is logging from say US, and couple of minutes later it will log in from, say, a place in Asia or Egypt, it surely is a problem. There's an issue, and it seems like there's a kind of a suspicious activity which is going on. So such kind of a dashboard also can be prepared, which is based on your requirement. It will immediately notify you, give you that there's a suspicious long distance login which is happening into your environment, and why it is happening. Then again, if you talk about a couple of out-of-the-box dashboards on the threat intelligence specifically, it will give you IP-based threat, URL-based threats, and as well as the threat based on your domains, right? If one of the example is threat intelligence on SSO, why this particular it's on the IP, and then there's a number of alerts which are getting high anomaly alerts, which are this many numbers. So that kind of a integration will provide you a lot of insight about what is going on into your environment. Going further, if you see, there are malware related activities from maybe from your firewalls. It's happening from your, say, antivirus, your flows traffic, right? Maybe from your VPC flow. This is what I was talking about: VPC flow, data volume, outlier. Now outlier, as you say, this gray shaded area, this is a normal scenario, right? So in particular time range, in particular time of the day, or time of the day of the week, you see your data is been analyzed, and it analyzed the trend. It says that this particular numbers are okay if it is happening in this particular range at this point of time. If it goes beyond, or if it goes below that, it can go up or down based on your use case. So then it will notify you by this pink triangle, which are outlier. So this is what you require in today's world. You don't want to restrict your data. You don't know how the data is flowing. You're having multiple security solution in your environment. There are multiple uh, people are accessing your environment as well, outside and as well as inside. How do you quantify that this is what my threshold is if you don't know? And how you set it? So based on the industry practice, based on this thing, the unsupervised machine learning, it will give you this outlier and understand your trend of data. Whether it's you're in a banking or a e-commerce company or something else, your data will be kind of a segregated, and it will be grouped that this happens over a period of time. This is what a trend is. And then if something goes beyond that normal activities, it will be notifying it. So it's a very useful once you are actually doing the kind of a troubleshooting, or once you are not very sure and starting things and not very known threat or known things which are available from your environment itself. So that's pretty much about what we provide from a out of the box functionality also. Let me bring it something from a threat intelligence standpoint itself. If I just go ahead and say that yeah, so give me 1 minute, and if I say threat here, and I'll show you some of the threat intelligence quick analysis dashboard, which will give you a lot of insight about what is what is happening into my environment, like threat intelligence quick analysis here. So it will give you a lot of things like what is my threat count, right? What is the threat count by location, where it's happening from? This is example of a two integration. One is your CrowdStrike integration, one is your Mapbox integration. Threat by actor, right? If there's a malicious actors, known malicious actor, which is maybe attacking your environment, whether you're based on your IP URL or maybe your domain, how it is happening. If I open one of this, it will also give me a lot of insight about why this numbers is jumping at the particular point of time. Right, and if it also go ahead and threat intelligence quick analysis dashboard itself, it will also give me a lot of insight in terms of what my threat related to IP, right? So if you see this particular dashboard is talking about all IP related threat. There is 7.42 thousand 742,000 kind of attacks, which number of count. I'm so sorry. Give me a second. And so if you can see this particular dashboard, it is talking about around 7,000 thread counts, which is happening into your environment in the last 15 minutes. Then geolocation based, IP based attacks might be happening from these many locations into your environment in last 15 minutes. You see, this is showing the last 15. You can select the more, longer time range, and then there's a what kind breakdown, right? Is from which sources the data is, whether your guard duty has more number of threat, whether your say security hub has more number of threat, or maybe other things, right? Maybe your S3 normal or your Windows environment itself, right? Threat actors, right? These are the known threat actors, salty spider or something else, right? So these are the known threat actors which are attacking. And what is the count, the bifurcation of that, right? The malicious confidence, whether there's a high malicious confidence kind of activities are going on into your environment, which is might be very not very healthy situations to be in. Threat over period of time, what is the trend of your threat which is happening? And these are all IP based. It can be, as you say in the left, you can URL based threat, or maybe domain based threat, or email based threat. Based on the data which you're bringing into Sumo Logic, it has been search for everything which you have, and then you get this kind of out of the box dashboard to give you quick insight about what is going on into your environment itself. Now, if you talk about a couple of other ones, if I'll just open one of the email one, right, which will give you in terms of thread count over email, or maybe email URL. Yeah. So if you see there's a email thread count related to emails, right? If you're pushing the data is coming, and then somebody is, using sending the data over the if the mails are coming from your some of the outside domains. So all these are very well, very well, these use cases are very well available from this Sumo Logic platform, which can be utilized quickly once you bring the right data, which will give you this insight itself. With firewall data, your, the collaboration tool data, maybe your email based data, Office 365, your G Suite data, all this can be, bring in, and then this kind of a dashboard will give you a quick insight about what is going on into your environment. So with that, I think we are almost reaching to the end of this webinar. I don't think we have anything for now. We have more extended we have many other webinars like this. As you talked about, we have one which is coming on tomorrow, which is cloud advanced sim CAC platform, which you can utilize. You can register for it if you're not, to learn more about the advanced cloud sim solution from us. And yeah, with that, I'll take few of the questions from you. And if you have not posted, if you have anything, you can just go ahead and post your question. I can see one which is asking for, can we get access to the recording session? Yeah, definitely. As soon as you after this session, I think by end of the day, today itself, you'll see if you have registered you and attended, and if you have registered itself, you'll get a webinar, the link of this recording, which you can see. And one more important point, you can reach out to us for any of your questions, and post it to us, and reach out to your respective account managers, sales folks, and reach out to us as well, to discuss further on for any other questions if you have. So I'll keep this for a few more minutes so that we can take it more questions from you. Otherwise, we'll close this session in a few minutes. I can see a question which says where we can see the use case list enabled on tool. Okay, so if you go to the same platform and go to app catalog will give you immediately that what is their different integration. First of all, what we have, and with the integration itself, if you go to, let me just actually show it to you. If you go to the platform, and if you go click it here, app catalog, all these are related use cases you have. So suppose you have specific use case for a CloudTrail, right? A CloudTrail, what kind of a dashboards you want to require, what kind of panels which you require. So all these are very well documented as well. If you go to help.sumologic.com, let me paste that link as well, help.sumologic.com. And if you once you open this particular link and type in your query, like, if I go, let me actually show it to you as well. If I go to some help.sumologic.com and paste something like a cloud trail, it will give you a lot of insight about how, first of all, what it does, what kind of use cases it has, how to collect the data from it, right? And how to use this platform for use this particular app for different use cases itself. So all this, as I said, is very well documented and can be utilized as per your need. Did that answer your question? Any more questions? Please feel free to put it on the chat, put it on the Q&A box. Okay, I see the yes. Okay, fine. I'll give more 10 more, maybe a few more seconds to before we close this webinar today. Also feel free to post your questions to and you can also go ahead at sumologic.com and register for a trial if you want to, see how actually it works on then, and that you get 30 days free trial, which can be extended as per a requirement if you are intended to buy, or you can use it. I think 1 GB for a day is free, which you can use it, and start fishing your data which you want to see the insight, and try make more use of the platform, see your use cases, and start building your own which you require. And you reach out to us at sales@sumologic.com or your respective account managers to get a quick understanding. One of our sales engineer or somebody will quickly jump on to a call to show you what you actually require. All right. So thank you everyone. Thanks for joining this session today. We'll be look forward to meet you in many other sessions as well. And have a nice day, right, and rest of the week. Thank you very much. Bye bye.